Do you know which words your cat actually understands when you speak to them? Most people assume their cat only reacts to the sound of a treat bag or a can being opened. But a remarkable study from Japan's Sophia University confirmed that cats learn and respond to specific words you use every single day. And one of those words, the one nearly every owner says incorrectly, might be slowly damaging your cat's trust without you even realizing it. Let's begin with the word they picked up before anything else. 1. They know their own name. Have you ever called your cat's name and watched them look at you, blink once, and then stroll in the opposite direction? You probably assumed they weren't listening, but they were. They absolutely were in 2019. Researcher Atsuko Saito and her team at Sophia University in Japan published a study that shifted everything we thought we understood about cats and language. They tested dozens of cats and discovered something remarkable. Cats can tell their own name apart from random words, and even from words that sound nearly identical. So why don't they always come running? Because cats aren't built to respond the way dogs are. Dogs were bred for obedience. Cats were never raised to comply. When your cat hears their name, they make a decision. They consider whether responding is worth it based on what typically happens next. If calling their name usually leads to something positive like food, play, or affection, they're more likely to come. If it usually means a bath or a vet trip, don't count on it. And that's what makes this so fascinating. Your cat knows exactly what you're saying. They simply decide whether you're worth responding to. And if your cat recognizes their own name, what else have they been quietly absorbing? The final word on this list might change the way you see your cat entirely too. They know what no means. Ever noticed how your cat freezes the instant you say no? Maybe they were on the counter, scratching the couch, or about to nudge something off a shelf. You said it once, and they stopped. Eh? So they clearly understood, right? Well, yes and no. Your cat absolutely learns what no means over time. But here's what most owners get wrong. Cats don't respond to the word the way you expect them to. They respond to the tone, the volume, and the emotional weight behind it. That sharp, sudden sound creates a negative association. Your cat learns that when that sound occurs, something unpleasant tends to follow. So they stop, not because they respect the boundary, but because they want to avoid the discomfort. And this is where things get complicated. If you use no too frequently, too loudly, or at the wrong moments, your cat doesn't develop discipline. They develop fear. They begin associating you with stress. Gradually that changes everything. They hide more. They flinch when you move too quickly. And they stop coming when you call. Not because they forgot the connection, but because you accidentally rewired what your presence means to them. The owners who see the best results are the ones who use no sparingly and calmly. A short, firm tone. It's no shouting, no repeating it 5 times. One calm, no, followed by redirecting them toward something they're allowed to do. That's how you guide without breaking trust. And hey, this is making you reconsider every conversation you've ever had with your cat. Hit like and subscribe so we can reach more cat owners who deserve to understand what their cat is actually hearing. 3. They know what treat means. What's the one word that makes your cat materialize out of nowhere, no matter where they are in the house? You already know the answer. Treat. You could whisper it from 3 rooms away. Somehow your cat is already sitting at your feet, looking at you like they've been waiting all day. And this isn't just endearing, it's science. Cats learn through something called classical conditioning. It's the same process a scientist named Pavlov uncovered over 100 years ago. When he noticed that dogs began salivating just from hearing a bell because they had learned that the bell meant food was coming. When a specific sound is followed by the same result every single time, the brain forms a direct link between the two. Sound equals food. No thinking required. It becomes automatic. And here's the amusing part. Most owners don't even realize they trained their cat to do this. You never sat down and ran vocabulary sessions. You simply said treat before handing one over again and again, and your cat did the rest. They connected the sound to the outcome. Faster than you'd expect, because food is the most powerful motivator in a cat's world. But it goes even deeper than the word itself.
At.
Some cats start reacting to the sound of the bag crinkling, the cabinet opening, or even your footsteps moving toward the kitchen at a certain time of day. They've constructed an entire chain of associations around that one moment. The word is just the most obvious trigger in a system your cat built entirely on their own. 4. They know your other cat's name. If you have more than one cat, have you ever said one of their names and noticed the other one react? Maybe they glanced toward the cat you were calling. Maybe they looked at the doorway their housemate usually enters through. You probably wrote it off as coincidence. It wasn't. In 2022. A research team led by Saho Takagi at Kyoto University in Japan published a study that surprised the animal behavior community. They found that cats living with other cats learn and recognize the names of their housemates. Not just the sound, but the identity behind it. Here's how they demonstrated it. They played a cat's name out loud while displaying either the correct cat or a completely different one on a screen. When the wrong cat appeared, the cats in the study stared longer. That extended stare is a well-established signal in animal research. It means something doesn't match what they anticipated. They heard the name. They expected a specific face. And when it didn't align, they noticed. Think about what that means for a moment. Your cat has been quietly constructing a mental map of your household. They know who's who. They know which name belongs to which face. Nobody taught them this. They figured it out simply by living alongside you and noticing patterns you didn't even know you were creating. So the next time you call one cat and the other one looks up, understand that it isn't random. They knew exactly who you were referring to and decided to be curious about it. 5. They know what come here means. Have you ever looked across the room at your cat, said come here, and watched them actually walk toward you? Most people laugh it off as a lucky moment. But what if your cat has understood those words for longer than you realize? This is the one we mentioned earlier, and it might shift the way you see your cat forever. Cats aren't born knowing what come here means, but over time, through hundreds of small repeated moments, they form a connection between those words and what consistently follows. You say it, and then you give them affection. You say it, and then they get picked up. You say it, and then they find themselves somewhere warm and safe. Your cat didn't learn this from instructions. They learned it from you. From every single time those words led to something good. And that's what sets this one apart from every other word on this list. Treat is about food. No is about avoidance. But come here is about your relationship. When your cat hears those words and chooses to walk toward you, they aren't following a command. They're telling you that every experience they've had with you after hearing those words made them feel safe enough to return for more.